Hello everyone, have a pleasant day. This is Srimati from Dr. Ambedkar Global Law Institute, Tirupati. Today we are going to see the liabilities of an auditor. Okay, so here when an auditor is appointed, okay, and under a statute or that is under a law or under any agreement to carry out his professional work, then he has always presumed that he shall carry out the assignment with the care and diligence expected of a member of this profession. Okay, so in other words, we can say the auditor is expected to discharge his duties according to generally accepted standards. So here he has to obtaining at the time when the professional work is carried out by him. Okay, so here in case if he shows a negligence in his professional work, then he may be held liable. Let's discuss the liabilities of an auditor in various cases. First one is appointed by a private concern, that is a sole proprietary concern or partnership firm, and a company incorporated under the Companies Act 2013 or under 1956 or any previous act. Okay, so the liabilities of an auditor can be grouped in different categories. Okay, the first one is the civil liability and then criminal liability. The criminal liability under the Companies Act and the criminal liability under Indian Penal Code and liability under other statutes. Okay, under these heads we are going to see the liabilities of an auditor. Let's move on to the first liability of an auditor appointed by a private concern. Here we have to note that the already stated, we know that the appointment of auditor in private concern is not according to the law. It is not required by the law. So therefore no law has defines the terms of auditor's appointment, his duties, rights and liability. So at the same time we can see that it is not obligatory for a private concern to appoint an auditor. In case of auditor is appointed in a private concern, then he is appointed by an agreement with the client. Okay, so all the terms and conditions related to the powers, duties are mentioned in that agreement. Here the auditor has to have an instructions in writing from his clients as regard to the scope of his duties, so that there may not be any dispute about his extent of scope of work in future. So we can say that the liability of an auditor depends upon the exact scope of work which he is instructed to do. Suppose if he has followed the instructions, then he is free from liability. So however, he can be made liable under the Contract Act. That is, if he fails to perform his duties according to the terms of agreement and instructions given by the clients. Now we say it is clear that the auditor shall not be liable for any loss suffered by his client due to non-performance of that work which was not required to do under the agreement. The liability of an auditor under the Companies Act. Okay, then we have to see that liability of negligence under the law of agency. So here negligence is a breach of duty to take care. So here the auditor may be sued in a civil court for damages arising out of negligence in performance of his duties. Suppose an auditor is appointed to detect the frauds and errors, then he has to take care to detect the errors and frauds. Suppose if auditor is negligent in performing his duties and consequently the company suffers a loss, then the auditor is held liable for damages. Here the liability for negligence will arise when it is proved. Okay, then he was in a fact negligent in performing his duties as an auditor, then that the client to whom he owed a duty of care has indeed suffered a loss owing to such negligence. under statute, that is misfeasance. What is misfeasance? It is about an improper performance of law of act or doing of a lawful act in an unlawful manner. So it is implies a breach of trust or duty. So here the duty has been imposed on auditors under section 227 subsection 2 of Companies Act to state in his report the various things, okay, as I already stated in the duties of an auditor under section 227 subsection 2. There is about nearly 5 points are there. If he fails to do, again I am not repeating, okay, so if he fails to do these duties, then he will be held liable. Suppose if he does not comply with those requirements, okay, then he is guilty of misfeasance and his liable to be fined up to rupees 1000. Okay, and the next one is according to section 229. What is section 229 means? The duty to, as well as it is a right of an auditor to sign in the report which has been prepared by him. Suppose in case an auditor is a firm, then the partner of a firm practicing in India can sign the report. Suppose failure to do or comply with these requirements of this session, then he may make an auditor liable to a fine up to rupees 1000, provided default is willful, that is he is willingly not signing in the audit report means. Then under section 543 of Companies Act, which is about to deal with that is restore of money or property which is together with the interest of the company in case of winding up of a company. In such a case, the compensation, if they misapplied or retained any money or property of the company, then all the officers who are related to this are held liable. Suppose if auditor also involves in this, he will be held liable. So however, the court may relieve an auditor under section 633 if it is proved by him, that is auditor, he has acted honestly or reasonably, taking into account all the circumstances of the case, he may be excused. Okay, and then the next one is under Companies Act, okay, that is the criminal liability. So under section 2 subsection 30 of Companies Act, the auditor of a company can be held liable for proven acts of omission or commission on his part which constitutes an offence under the act. So the penalty for such offence is fine or imprisonment or both. So let us see one by one what are the criminal liabilities under the Companies Act. The first one is misstatement in prospectus under section 63. So you know that the auditor has to sign in the prospectus, okay, and he has to state that it is true and fair view, okay, it is a true and it is fair view of a company's affairs. It has been revealed in the prospectus. Like suppose if he is signing with an intention when it is about untrue statement, then every person, okay, every person including the auditor who has authorized such an issue shall be punishable with imprisonment up to a period of 2 years or fine up to rupees 5000 or both. So this liability can be escaped. How he can escape? He can say that if the person concerned, that is auditor concerned, proves that he had a reasonable ground to believe it up to the time of such issue, the statement was very true. And the next one is the failure to assist investigation under section 240. So what is about an investigation? As already said, it is about when a government appoints an investigator to investigate the affairs of a company in case of various provisions. Okay, so it is the duty of an auditor to help the investigator in all possible ways. Okay, and then he has to produce the working papers which has been prepared by him. Suppose if auditor is not compile with such a requirements, then he shall be punishable with the imprisonment for a period of 6 months or with a fine of rupees 2000 or both. And the next one is failure to return property, books or papers under section 477. Suppose or in case of winding up of a company, the appointment of liquidator or making up a winding order, then the court may summon before any officer or auditor of a company who is known as the possession of any property or books of a company. Then they have to submit to the liquidator. Suppose in case failure of this, appear before the court and submit this books of accounts, then the court may lead to punishment of arrest. And then the next one is penalty for deliberate act of commission or omission under section 28. If an auditor of a company deliberately makes any statement in any return, that is a return or report which has been prepared, or if he certifies in a balance sheet or prospectus, which is in any material aspect. Material aspect means very important thing, okay, for such a report or certificate, and he deliberately omits any material fact, then he shall be punishable with the imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years and shall be liable to fine also. And then the next one is penalty for falsification of books under section 539. So what is about the falsification of books? Suppose if officer of a company which is being wound up, that is in case of winding up of a company, then the auditor, okay, intends to defraud or deceive any person by making any false or fraudulent entry in books of accounts belonging to the company, then he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years or shall also be liable to fine. And the next heading is liability under the Indian Penal Code under section 197. Suppose if a person, auditor, is issued or signed any certificate which is required validity to be given or signed regarding any fact which by the law is admissible as an evidence. Say for example, in any case, if the evidence or if a certificate or if a statement or if the report is treated to be an evidence, in that case, if he makes any false information, okay, if he signs which is about a false information, then knowing or believing that such a certificate is false, then in any material point, that is in any important point, then he shall be punishable in the same manner as if he gives us a false evidence, okay. And the next one is liability under Income Tax Act under section 278 of that act, okay, that provides a rigorous imprisonment up to 2 years for a person who abates or induces any in any manner another person to make a delivery to the income tax authorities a false statement or declaration relating to any income chargeable to tax which he knows to be very false. That is, an auditor who gives the books of accounts or who certifies the books of accounts as a true, but he knows that books of accounts is very false. In such a case, the person, that is auditor, is liable under section 278 of that act. Suppose an auditor may also be charged in case of a wrong certification of account under rule A of the income tax rules. Has an auditor can face imprisonment up to 2 years for furnishing a false information. And the last one is liability for professional misconduct. That is a profession of accountancy is governed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, established under the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. Suppose what is professional misconduct means? Define any act or omission specified in the first and second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act is also any other misconduct. Then the council of the institute has the power to provide for penalties where the member fails to follow the professional code of conduct. Okay, if he fails to follow the professional code of conduct, then the council has the power for making penalties. So here the liability for professional misconduct will be the removal of the name of the accountant from the register of members for 5 years or more number of years. It is up to the council's decision. So these are the things which will comes under the liabilities of an auditor. So the liability of an auditor comes only if he fails to perform his duties, okay, with due care and diligence. Otherwise he is not held liable. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this class. Until the next, it's bye from Srimati. Thank you.